One of the nurses told me that she woke up around midnight with pressure on her stomach. And when she woke up, she saw a woman standing over her, looking at her angrily. This woman was furious, and she was pressing down on this nurse's stomach.
I'm Luke Frost, this is Hey That's Weird, and this week, we're doing things a little differently. Recently, I was contacted by Emily. Emily is from Lima in Peru. As soon as she started to share some of the details of her story with me, I knew what I wanted to do with it. There is a lot to this experience. It spans generations. And to cover it all, I decided to make this the first ever Hey That's Weird 2-part episode. I think it's worth pointing out that although Emily has the best internet connection possible, we suffered so many weird audio glitches and technical issues that we had to approach this one a little differently. It's as if something didn't want the story told. Honestly, Emily did the legwork for this episode. It wouldn't really exist without her. Not just because she's a storyteller, but because she really took charge of it. It was recorded over the space of a few weeks with the help of her and her family, so I wanted to start this one with a huge thanks to her and Em. I definitely don't want to take up too much time setting this up, and I want to hand the episode directly to Emily. So, without further ado, myself, Emily, and her family present The House in Peru, Part 1. Let's get weird.
Hi, I'm Emily. I live in Lima, Peru. I grew up in a haunted house, so I got to see lots of weird and spooky things as a kid. I still do, because I still live here. This house was built by my dad's side of the family. They're Peruvian, and they started the construction in 1950, and it took 2 years to complete. They got all of the furniture, all of the decoration, all of the curtains and extra details for the house brought from Europe. So a lot of the things that we have here are gorgeous antiques, but most of them are cracked or maybe a bit broken because bringing them was pretty difficult back then. My dad's family have lived here since the very beginning. The land where this house was built used to be a massive olive grove. So we have like these really ancient olive trees around the house. I mean, they're hundreds of years old. We've been here for a really long time. There are not many left in this area. So the house is surrounded by what feels like a little forest of olive trees. I don't know if you've seen olive trees, but they do sort of already give you like a spooky feeling because the tree trunks are very knobbly and the leaves kind of like droop a little bit. So when you're walking by down the street, you can't really see the house properly because you have this big park area around it. So it already gives it this air of mystery. So yeah, it's a spooky house. When I was very, very little, I used to be terrified all the time. I was so scared of the dark hallways, of the dark living room areas. I was terrified of seeing something, and I would always try to protect myself by running past dark areas and like trying to pretend that I hadn't seen anything. But I grew up feeling very anxious all the time. I remember feeling observed. And even though in our family we didn't talk about it a lot, we were aware that we had spirits in the house. I think we tried not to talk about it because we didn't want to invoke them either. But we knew they were there, and we knew things would happen at night or during the day that we couldn't really explain, but we would try to ignore it. So a lot of my childhood meant that I had to ignore things that I knew didn't sit right with me, that made me feel uncomfortable and watched. And I loved this house. I loved playing in the garden, and I would love playing in the TV room. But it was these specific areas that would really creep me out and would scare me as a kid. And some of them still do even now, even though I feel braver. But as a kid, I do remember feeling anxious all the time and terrified. I would sleep with 3 different night lights that would shine a path to the bathroom because I just didn't want to be in the dark, because I knew that if I had complete darkness, it would allow me to see something. And I just refused to open myself up to seeing this spirit world. I just did not want to know what was there. I was terrified. I think as a kid, I realized that maybe the energy in the house wasn't necessarily kind. It felt very strict, and it felt very formal. And I think a lot came from the fact that my dad's side of the family, they're very Catholic and inflexible in certain things. So I understood that the spirits that were in the house also shared the same mentality. And I was a spunky kid. I was always getting into trouble. So I felt that if I opened myself up to them, I would get ticked off by them. So when I was very small, I used to share a bedroom with my sister. But as she got older, I moved to another room in this big house. The only room that was available was a room that was at the very end of the house. And it was a room that was always dark. Even though it had a huge window, I remember that I would get sunlight for only a couple of hours. It was a scary room. It's a long, narrow bedroom, which is kind of hard to put furniture in because it didn't feel comfortable or cozy. My mom tried her best to make sure it was like a lovely room for me, and we decorated it, and for a bit it was lovely, but the fact that it was always dark made me feel very unsafe. I remember whenever I would fall asleep facing the wall because I didn't want to face my bedroom door, and my bedroom door was always open. I refused to have it shut because I was scared that by closing it, I would get trapped in this room. This is the feeling that I would always get before going to bed, that if I closed the door, I would get trapped in this room with this energy inside it. One night, I remember I woke up probably around 4 a.m. because I felt someone had sat on my bed and they were leaning up against me. And I was looking towards the wall because I also didn't feel comfortable moving a lot in bed because I was anxious and afraid all the time. So I felt someone sit on my bed and lean up against me. And for a moment, I thought it was probably my mom coming to wake me up or to let me know something. I think at that time, we had a family member who was ill, so I thought maybe she had come to tell me bad news. So I was fully awake by then, waiting for her to tell me something. But she didn't say anything, so I noticed that it wasn't my mom. I felt so anxious. I felt so afraid. I felt completely paralyzed. I didn't know who this person was. I knew it couldn't be my dad either, because if it had been either of my parents, they would have said something. And my sister was away. I was afraid. I was terrified. And then I noticed that there was another noise coming from around my bed, and it was someone walking around in my bedroom. And at that time, I had my desk in sort of like next to my bed because it's a long, narrow bedroom. And I could sense that this person was walking around and they were tripping over all of the things I had around my desk. because I'm a very messy person, so I had lots of things on the floor. I think I had a couple of bags, I had books, I had my shoes, and they were tripping all over the place. It was as if they knew the space, but they didn't really understand that there were things. They couldn't see the things on the floor. And I could notice that they were agitated and that they were frustrated. I knew that they wanted my attention, that they wanted me to turn around. They wanted me to engage with them, but I refused. I did not want to. I didn't feel safe. So I waited until finally this sensation of this person or this thing leaning against me stopped. I took off. I remember I ran out of my room. I didn't even look back. I just ran out of my room and I went straight to the bathroom and I locked myself up there until morning. I went back to my bedroom and I noticed that, my room was a mess. It was always a mess, but it was even messier. I could tell that somebody had walked around and had tripped over my things. And that same day I moved out of that bedroom. I left it and I haven't gone back. And to be honest, I still don't like to go back to that bedroom. If I ever have to go into the bedroom, I turn all the lights on and I take my dog in, I play some music because it has a really bad vibe. I hate it. I don't like it. But my sister does have she had a better experience in that room. She didn't feel that heaviness or that weight or this frustration. I kept feeling like there was something in there that was frustrated. So she had a better experience, but I definitely don't go near that room at all. So my dad's side of the family, I feel they're very magical. And even though they're very Catholic, I think they are spiritual in a very different sort of way. My dad has these amazing dreams where he dreams of the future and they come true. It sounds wonderful, but occasionally he'll dream of family members passing away, and they do end up passing away. It got to a point that he had to start taking sleeping medication to help him sleep because that would also help him to stop dreaming. I think this gift that he has, I do feel that other family members also have it. I have an aunt who passed away a couple years ago who also had the same sort of dreams and who could connect with family members who had passed away through her dreams. And I'm sad that I never got to talk about it with her because I would have loved to have known more about it. But I think it's such a difficult subject to talk about with my family because they're not open to it. They know it's there, they know it exists. They just sort of accept it for what it is and go on with their lives. They don't really make a big fuss out of it. Sometimes we'll get together and we'll talk about, the ghost stories, and we'll talk about weird things that have happened in the house, but we won't necessarily discuss it or analyze it. We just sort of understand it's there and that's it. So one of the most recent spooky events that has happened was that a couple weeks ago, I was having coffee with a friend in the garden. She turned around and told me that she had seen someone walk by. And I told her, it could have been my dad. She was like,
no, this was a teenager.
She was like,
maybe it was, I don't know, your cousin?
And I was like, no, that wasn't my cousin. The only two people in the house right now are my dad and me. It's just us. And that really freaked her out. She looked really nervous. She was like,
no, I'm definitely sure this was a teenager.
I was like, there's no one else here. And I think she thought I was joking because she was so confident that she had seen this teenager boy. And I still, until now, I can't think who it could be when I'm thinking of family members that have passed away. I can't think of anyone, to be honest. Yeah, she was really creeped out. I'm just curious to who it could be. Last year, my mom broke her leg and we had two really lovely nurses come take care of her. And while I was away, the nurses were attacked spiritually by two ghosts. One of them was my great-grandmother and the other one was my great-grandfather. One of the nurses told me that she woke up around midnight with pressure on her stomach. And when she woke up, she saw a woman standing over her, looking at her angrily. This woman was furious, and she was pressing down on this nurse's stomach. And this nurse was terrified, and she shut her eyes and she started praying. And by the time that she opened her eyes, this woman had left, but the pressure on her stomach remained there. And she said that the pressure stayed there until morning, like it just would not let up. It freaked her out so much that the next day she told me that when she went back home after her shift ended, she went and got cleansed because she was so scared of bringing back that energy to her own home. And then what happened to the other nurse was she was awake. She was listening to see if my mom needed anything. So she was looking at her phone. I don't think she had any of the lights on in the area where she was sleeping so she could check up on my mom. And then she noticed that there was a man, a tall man with a hat in the corner of the room staring at her. When she pointed out the corner where this man was, it was the same corner where my dog suddenly perks up and looks at. And sometimes she even barks at this corner. And I've never seen this particular spirit, but she said that she saw him and he looked very solid. And she would look down at her phone and then look up and he would stay there. And it wasn't until she got up and turned on the lights that he disappeared. She was really afraid of coming the next day. She didn't want to come. And that's when they started lighting candles in the area where they would spend the night so they could be close to my mom. They would burn a little candle in the night to ask for protection. When I got back and they were telling me about this, I told them that they should tell the house that they're there to look after my mom and that they're there to make sure that she's okay, that she's healing okay. And that's what we started doing. We started telling the house that these two new people that were spending the night weren't doing any harm, that they were taking care of my mom, and all they wanted was for my mom to heal. And after that, the energy sort of relaxed a bit. And you can feel it. It's weird. It's a weird sensation. You know when the house is stressed because everybody else feels stressed. But the second the house feels happy, we're happy. It really has its own identity. It's its own personality. And its feelings fluctuate all the time. That's how I feel it. Since then, I've had lots of little encounters. After that, I decided that I had to stay away from that and maybe engage with the energy in the house in a different way. So that's when things started to change for us, I think, because we decided that we had to maybe shift the way that we were connecting with the spirits in the house. We had a couple of family members pass away. We had one final family wake in the house. And after that, we sort of decided not to hold wakes in the house anymore. We had a great aunt pass away, which I feel also closed a chapter for us. And the energy in the house became a lot lighter. We started using these spaces that we wouldn't use before. We would have these spaces with these beautiful antiques shut off, and it felt like a museum, and we started using these spaces again, so the house became alive again. Everything felt different. We noticed that there was more warmth in the house. It felt a lot more welcoming and cozy and friendly. I noticed from friends that would come over that they would point out that they loved coming over, that they felt happy to be there. We started talking to the house, saying good morning, good night. When we would leave the house, we'd say goodbye. We started interacting a lot more with the house in this way, treating it more like its own person, because I think after all these years, after all of these different generations that have lived in this house, we've finally understood that the house is its own person. And I feel that it's also a hub for these spirits. And when I talk about these spirits, I always try to imagine that they are family members coming over to visit us. So I feel that instead of being afraid of them, we've sort of shifted into believing that they are visitors that come and check in on us. And it's less invasive as it was before. They don't make themselves known so aggressively as they did before. They interact with us in a more gentle way. I think it helps that we do cleanses all the time. We have a sort of altar, I suppose, in our daily dining room with photos of the family, and we have candles, and we burn sage there and Palo Santo. And when things get a little bit heavy in the house, we do a cleansing ritual. That also helps. But we have noticed that since there's been a lot more constructions in the area, we've noticed that there's been a lot of like spirits coming in that aren't necessarily our spirits that live in our house. And they're basically like black shadows that just sort of like run in and run out of the house, and you can see them clearly. We know that they don't really belong here with us because they're desperate to get somewhere. They know that there is, I feel, I don't know why I'm talking about this if I know what's going on, but I guess it's just like this feeling that I get and that my mom also gets, that they sort of understand that this is some sort of like spiritual, there's a strong spiritual force going on here and they're attracted to it. But I think something here stops them from staying here, so they just leave. And it's weird because we can see them come in through like the front part of the house where the street is, and then they sort of like run out through the garden. And we got to see it a lot during the pandemic because we had tons of construction sites all over the place. It's less now, but I do think that this house is some sort of like spiritual hub, and people notice it. I have gotten a lot of remarks from neighbors that when they come to walk their dogs or they're just walking by, they always tell us that they feel watched by people looking out of the windows. And I can tell you for the fact that I've never looked at anyone out of my bedroom window or any of the other windows. I find it interesting that even our neighbors know that this house is a little bit spooky and it's a little bit weird. And we don't get anyone asking for candy for Halloween. We haven't had any children come up for years now, though we always have candy set out just in case, but we never get kids coming up. Hopefully this year will be different, but I think the house is spooky. The driveway up towards the house is dark. We have big trees. I think the house likes being spooky. It likes being a little bit creepy and a little bit weird. I think it uses it as a protection almost against other people or against other spirits.
During her story, Emily had mentioned her family quite a few times. This wasn't an isolated case of one person experiencing paranormal activity. It was several individuals, and I was desperate to explore that further. I tried not to overstep, and I cautiously asked Emily how she would feel about asking her mum to talk about her experiences. And thankfully, she agreed, although things didn't initially go to plan.
Hi, my name is Julia, Emily's mom. These are some of my experiences here, living in this house. When we first came to live here, one night when we were all fast asleep, I woke up, not really woke up, but I was aware of a heavy, dark presence at the end of my bed. And I couldn't push it off. I couldn't wake up. I couldn't yell, scream, nothing. And it happened a few times until one night I'd had enough. And so within myself, I got up and I said to the presence, "Follow me." And I led it out of the house to the back door, where I opened the door and said, "Go, in the name of God, leave." And I never felt it again. Another experience that happened was we had a lovely maid, and she was on her way to see my husband's aunt, and she noticed a gentleman in the drawing room. So she went off to do what she had to do, and on the way back, she realized that the gentleman was gone. And then she looked up and saw the portrait of my husband's grandfather, and she recognized him as the man she saw sitting in the drawing room.
Emily had mentioned to me during her initial call that if her and her family talked about the activity within the house while they were in the house, it had a tendency to ramp up the hostile activity, which all of them wanted to avoid, and I couldn't blame them.
Hey Luke, I was talking to my mom now. We wanted to talk about how we feel in the house, but we had to stop because we felt that I think we might have to record outside so we can talk about the house, because she's scared that if she talks about it inside the house that she's inviting something in. So hopefully tomorrow after work I'll be able to record ourselves.
This is a family that fully believe that something is interfering with them in the house, and to be honest, after hearing the stories, I do too. Emily and her mum agreed to continue recording, but outside of the house, away from the hub of activity that has been interfering with their family for so long. Please tune in next week to listen to Emily's mother and her sister share their experiences from the house in Peru. Although this is a two-parter, like every other storyteller, I still wanted to give Emily the chance to talk about something she is passionate about. Here's what she wanted to share.
I'm a big advocate for ocean conservation and ocean protection. I do a lot of open water swimming, so I do feel very connected to it. A lot of my artistic projects have also been related to the ocean. So whenever I have an opportunity to talk about anything that we should, protect, appreciate, respect, it's always the ocean. Well, my family, we're also big advocates of mental health and taking care of yourself, being gentle with yourself, showing yourself grace at all times. Therapy is wonderful. It has helped and has saved so many people. I include myself there. And medication saves lives. I think we have already started to take down the stigma that there's anything bad or wrong about taking antidepressants. Anything that helps us feel better about ourselves is good. So yes, I would say that those are two things that I somehow always talk about with friends and with family, funnily enough. And now I'm talking about them with you.
That does it for part 1 of the house in Peru. I'm not going to make you all wait 3 weeks until part 2, don't worry. Just give me a week and it's all yours. In the meantime, if you have a story and you want to make an episode with me, you can email me at heythat'sweirdpodcast@gmail.com, send me a message on Instagram at heythat'sweirdpodcast, or you can join the new Hey That's Weird Discord. The link for that's in the Instagram bio. There's a mighty 18 of us now, and it's been great getting to know some of you. Okay, that's it. Until next week, stay weird.